Hello and welcome to today's review of the Transformers 2007 movie Real Gear Robots High Score 100. Now, this guy is absolutely brilliant in this controller mode. Look at him. He's got articulated thumbsticks, analogs, whatever you want to call them. No pushable buttons or shoulder buttons or anything like that, but generally it's really cool stuff. Absolutely tiny. It kind of reminds me of holding a NES controller. Even though that was just a flat rectangular brick, those are a bit small, for people that aren't children. But generally, this is really cool. It's very resemblant of a old Xbox controller. Even the 360 controller looks a fair bit like this. By extension, the Xbox One controller, it's all the same general design. It's very round, curvy. I like the way it holds together. Sure, it's panely, but it's a transformer. What are you going to expect from the size? Look at it from the back, it's not too clean, but I'm perfectly fine with it, given everything this does. And yeah, generally it's brilliant stuff, and I have no qualms with how it holds together. The feet tab in nicely to these lower sections, which will become the hands. All of this assembly up top is really nice, nothing moves an awful lot. And yeah, it's just a nice little thing to hold. It feels really great as well. So yeah, generally awesome stuff. From here, we're just going to move straight into our size comparison. So for the alt mode size comparison on high score, here we have portable game device, long view, Ralph, Dave. Generally looks really good with the other two. Nothing to complain about here. Yeah, it's just absolutely wonderful, He's definitely smaller than the other arms when I don't think he should be. He should definitely be a bit bigger than this. I mean, he is a bit bigger than it. So maybe there's some semblance of scale here, but I feel like the size difference between these should be a bit greater. I mean, hell, this realistically could be a bit bigger as well, but it's perfectly fine. No complaints with that. It's not losing points or anything. With the binoculars as well, I've said this before, the binoculars are tiny. I'm used to them being a fair bit bigger, but generally they all look really nice together. You kind of just build an army of these guys. I mean, hell, there's a transformer that turns into a toaster. I have him too. I'll show him on screen during editing, and he's truly something to behold. Maybe we'll just throw him on the Under the Real Gear week, whatever. I'm thinking it's something I might do, even though he's not one of them. From here, we're just going to move straight onto the transformation. So for the bot mode on high score, generally I bloody love it, right? This is definitely my favorite robot mode of the whole Real Gear set. And there is also a green version of this, which, I don't know if it's easily available because this one's not even common. I definitely think everyone's in love with the fact it's a monkey or a gorilla for whatever, look, monkey, not truck. That's the argument used for Beast Wars, and they say that, but Optimus Primal was a gorilla. So if I call this a monkey, does it matter? Generally, though, robot mode is absolutely brilliant. It's a bit absurd, proportionately. He does do the whole gorilla thing perfectly. I'm loving it. Just absolutely loving it. Like the kind of a pinky purple visor, these green accents on the chest plate, the shoulders, absolutely brilliant. And all the detailing from the controller just adds to this. And it's just a thing to behold, absolutely love it. So from here, let's move straight on to articulation. So the articulation on high score is a bit, it's hit and miss. He does some really cool things that the other bots don't do, or the other bots so far. But he does do a fair few things worse, and I can't knock him for it. The design hasn't exactly allowed itself to be the most mobile thing in the world, given the size and, proportional limitations, but, we'll talk about it. So the shoulders do go all the way around without any issues at all. The ball joint at the shoulder does allow for the arms to come out this much, which isn't really far, you know, you don't get you straight up or anything, but it's fine. Then you move down to the elbow, you have a nice bend here. It's very dynamic due to the shaping, but the range on it it's definitely more than a 90, because a 90 would be, say, there. But it's not the most articulate thing in the world, but it's nice. And due to the size, it can be a bit clashy. Now, every elbow joint, every ball joint acts as a swivel, right? And that's what Jobby would say. And brilliant stuff, you know. Nothing else to talk about for the arm. As for the head, we have a bit of down movement, which is nice. Up movement, all the way up. Brilliant stuff. You know, it's on this little hinge section, which is truly something to behold. Is it ball joint? It's a ball joint. It's just super articulate because the neck section moves. So the head goes all the way around. Truly wonderful. None of the others can hold a candle to that so far. And yeah, really, head movement's brilliant. If we move lower down to the figure, he's got an ab crunch, which is a sight to behold, our Transformers figure. He's got a waist swivel that would go all the way around if it didn't want to pop out. Let's just pop that back in. There you go. So, okay, it's a bit fiddly. I don't know. There you go. Swing it all the way out. Now, I don't think this is the correct kind of orientation of it for the bot mode, given the fact that he's meant to be a gorilla. You know, he's meant to be hunched over and whatever. But it's an option if you want to kind of make him a bit taller. And for the sake of showing you range on the joints, we are going to keep it like so. Legs kick up that much, which isn't great, but you know, it's an option. Legs kick back this much, maybe a little bit further, just kind of pushing it. There you go. You've got no real thigh swivel or anything like that, but he's so clunky that I'm not sure it'd matter. The knee joints go maybe 90 degrees back, you know, from this point kind of to the front. It's about a 90-degree angle. And then you move down to the ankles. You have a bit of backwards movement on this kind of joint that it's on. You have a toe bend going forward. And due to the fact it's a ball joint, you get a bit of pivot from side to side. It's not the most effective thing in the world, but options are options. And it definitely could help you put some pose together. So generally, the articulation on this guy, even though it's a bit clunky in places, he does a whole lot of things really well. I'm kind of loving the way the ab crunch works. The fact it kind of acts as a waist because it's a ball joint as well. All the head movement is brilliant. He's got ankles, which is lovely. But due to the clunkiness of this whole design, he's not making the most of his articulation. But you know, definitely welcome that he's got so much of it. Moving on from here, the size comparison. So for high score size comparison, here we have 2007 movie Voyager class Ironhide, 2007 movie Deluxe Swindle, the 07 Legends class Starscream, Ralph Steve. Generally brilliant, you know, brilliant little guy. I definitely do like the fact that he kind of just, he's a little brute, you know. I definitely look at him and I picture a Decepticon for some reason, you know. And the other version of this controller mold is a Decepticon. But, you know, this whole kind of brutish look doesn't scream Autobot to me, but he does look really nice with everything else. He definitely stands out a bit compared to some of the duller colours that the 07 line and all of the movie toys have. You know, given the fact he's white with hints of green. I mean, Swindle, he's a game figure, so he does stand out a bit, but this is definitely more, I guess, visually appealing than, say, the 07 Ironhide design, you know, given the fact that this is all dark and dingy. Truly a interesting figure of itself, but we'll get to that someday. But yep, as a whole, robot mode size comparison for this, I definitely think it's really good. You know, I like how it goes with the minifigures as well. You definitely think the gorilla could throw the humans around. He could, and he probably won't, given the fact he's not a Decepticon, but oh well. Moving on from here, my final thoughts. So, for my final thoughts on high score, he's brilliant, you know. All across the board, I There's nothing with this that really annoys me. The transformation, though, it's a little bit fidgety getting from one mode to the other due to the kind of how everything goes so precisely together from such a unique bot mode or ape mode, whatever you want to refer to it as. You know, despite how that works, I do think it's well engineered. I think both modes as well, they accomplish exactly what they needed to, even with the lack of pushable buttons for the controller mode. However, it does have 2 analog sticks, which is absolutely exceptional for the size. Just everything about this is awesome. You know, I would love to get the green version of this if I could ever find one, but I've never found one. So, you know, that's a quest for another day. But yeah, generally for the rankings on this one, Articulation, I really wanted to give him a 5 out of 5 due to the kind of specialty joints he has, you know, the ankles, the ab crunch, the waist, you know, it's all things that the other figures in this line aren't really doing, but he can't really make use of those joints due to how he's proportioned and how kind of everything gets in the way of one another, you know, especially these analog sections sticking out of the thighs and the way the knees work and whatnot. It kind of doesn't allow for the full expression of movement that these specialty joints like the ab crunch would generally allow for on, you know, a different kind of figure. So I'm giving him a 4 out of 5 there. Transformation on this guy, due to the kind of clashiness of some of the sections and the fact that getting these panels to spin around from the switch is a little bit annoying sometimes due to how everything else has to be positioned for it to work. But it's a really smart idea, you know, and I don't think the what do you call it? I don't think the execution is terrible. You know, just generally, it's good. It's a 4 out of 5. Aesthetics on this guy, visually amazing in both modes. I definitely love how everything kind of looks, you know, across the board. Paintwork, proportions, kind of just general aesthetic and stuff. If I could add one thing, it would be maybe having the Autobot insignia be kind of maybe split between these 2 shoulder panels for the robot mode, because it is on the crotch plate. I think that's a bit of an unusual placement, but whatever. Generally, though, 5 out of 5. Value for money on this guy as well. Now, despite the transformation being a tiny bit fidgety both ways, it's definitely a 5 out of 5. He's a truly wonderful and incredibly fun figure across the board for the £7 price point from back when he came out. Would I recommend him? Yes. Would I recommend the green one? Also yes. But I definitely think this is the slightly better of the 2. This has been AnimatedCHUG. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.